here is Mick. He's looking pretty in pink. Strong and pretty, he says. There we go. Any second. Oh, Mick, you might need to, it's not showing a mic. It's not showing a microphone. You might need to go out, come back in again.
Hello, can you hear us?
I think you might need to go out and come back in again. Yeah, so you have these people and you actually have completely naked men walking down the street at Pride in New York.
It's just got too far. I mean, don't get me wrong, I went to Pride when I was a kid. My mum took me to Manchester Pride, but it was just extremely different. It was a fun. Mick. It was a fun fair.
Yep. Hello, Mick.
Hey,
how are you doing? Can you turn that around, you reckon? So we can get a full screen view if possible.
Ooh. There we go. How's that? Hold on.
There you go.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Everybody, it's Michael Manuel Chaves. I always feel the need to say that in a sort of, I don't know, a Michael Caine voice for some reason. How are you doing, Mick?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Well, we're great, thank you. You've got a new single. What's the P for? LGBTQ, what's the P for? We were just talking about Pride this weekend in New York. Did you see any clips?
Unfortunately, no. I've been avoiding it because it turns my stomach.
Yeah, well, good point. I mean, the thing is, as I was saying to Sean, what you have are these men half naked with boob jobs, so topless, walking down the street saying, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Everything that lesbian and gay people have fought against for decades is being undone. All the goodwill, all people not thinking that they're other, that they're separate from us, is all being undone. Why did you do your single, Mick?
You know, we started it last year when we were protesting at the drag queens at the libraries, and Martin does music. You know, he's done so many songs for the resistance, but we thought that this one was really important because it's such an important message, and it's the here and now. You know, they're in the schools now, they're in the libraries now, today. You know, so it's not like it's something that's happening every so often. It's right here and it's happening right now, and we thought that now's an ideal time to try and draw attention to it.
So people will say, what's the P for? They'll say it's pansexual, but what do you think it's for, Mick?
Well, the thing is, like it said, we say in the tune that the P is for plus, right? It was LGBTQP, LGBTQ plus, right? So the P for plus means whatever they decide to add. And they're trying to add the term minor attractive persons. They're talking about it in school. It's offensive to call a paedophile a paedophile. Like, how on earth can you offend a criminal? So they're telling children that it's offensive to call a paedophile a paedophile. We have to be understanding and call them minor attractive persons. This is the most ridiculous and sick thing I've ever heard of, right? What we should be calling them is child rapists. End of story. They're child rapists and they need to go to prison, right? So they don't need to be accepted. They don't need to get a little colour on their flag, you know, to join the LGBT. I spoke to a lot of LGBT people. We've had we've liaised with Gays Against Groomers. We've been liaising with them since we did the libraries last year. Homosexual people, lesbians are not interested in this. They do not want to know about this stuff. They have distanced themselves from it as best they can. And a lot of people are only doing this because it's part of this agenda, it's part of being woke. People are taking their children because they're so woke. It's just ridiculous.
It is just ridiculous. When you've been outside those drag queen protests, because there was another one this weekend at Honor Oak, which kind of kicked off. So what you have are the anti-fascists who claim to be the good guys.
Yeah.
Right? So you've been at these protests, haven't you? You've been right in the thick of it as usual. I do love that T-shirt, strong and pretty. I think it's wonderful, actually. Breaks all manner of stereotypes there, Mick, which is wonderful. So you've been at these protests. What's the vibe like for you?
You know what? It was really disturbing. It was the hardest thing I've done since I've been doing this stuff since the beginning of the COVID in 2020, because the people that they get out to protest against you, the Antifa mob, are broken children. These are children that are scarred up. They have no idea of their own identity, and they were wearing like T-shirts and short sleeve shirts to show off all the self-abuse on their arms, on their faces. It was, and I just felt so sorry for them. And they were there, you know, accusing me of being homophobic and all this kind of stuff. And I'm stood there with gay people protesting, you know, against grooming children. And they're calling us homophobic. And, you know, one of the lesbians I was with, she was having a right debate with these Antifa mob, and they wouldn't accept, you know, well, you can't really be lesbian, or you would be here, you would be on our side. So it's not about who you sleep with. It's about these people grooming our children, and they don't want to see that. And they were like, that was the hardest thing, you know, the actual Antifa mob. The parents that were taking their kids in to see these, well, they was a next level. They was just something else altogether. You know, they were so woke. These poor kids didn't know what they were being subjected to. And the parents were dragging them in there like, we're off to see the best thing in the world. It's like, oh my God, you've got no idea what you're doing to your children.
No. Sean?
I just find it bizarre that we're even having to have this conversation. But I think we knew it was going to happen, or we've always thought it was going to happen. But yeah, it's strange
times. You know what they say in the comments? They say we're all being groomed, not just the children. And I think that's a very interesting point, because we have been groomed to a certain degree to be nice.
That's the problem. It's social pressure that people are scared to speak about or stand up about. And don't get me wrong, that movement are very good at cancelling people. It's very aggressive. So I can understand why, but when it comes to children, it shouldn't matter. No. And like, I think in the video I saw of you, Mick, it was literally like, why would somebody wake up and be like, okay, I'm not making enough money in strip bars, and he now needs to go to schools?
Right.
Like, the thought process is just wild.
I would like to try and play a little bit of this, because we do feature in the video, I have to say. We do. There's me saying that these men are reading to adults and they have an erection, reading to children and these men have an erection. I'm like, oh God, did I actually say that? Yes, I did, unashamedly. So let's see if we can, Mick, you're going to have to excuse me technical skills, mate. I'm not the most savvy around here, but we give it a shot. Let's see if that will play it for us.
Pictures of these drag queens reading to children with erections. They've got erections.
LGBTQP. What's the P for? What's the P for? LGBTQP. What's the P for? What's the P for? What's the P for?
Good on you, Mick. The thing is, I'll tell you what I like about you, Mick, is you're never afraid to put your neck out.
Yeah.
And I think that is really admirable. You did it all through COVID. And basically, you know, you're like there on the front line. You're a proper activist.
Yeah, and you know, I've had this conversation with people. I've got nothing to lose. You know, I lost my wife at the beginning of the COVID in my home. I live in a caravan in the field, right? They've got nothing they can take away from me. I've got my dogs. They could take my dogs away. But like I've said from day one, even if they put me in prison, they've got to feed me 3 times a day. So, you know, I've got absolutely nothing to lose. So I will go nose to nose with these people until my last breath, because they don't scare me, you know. And I get it. A lot of people, you know, they got family, they got commitments, they got work pressures. You know, I don't have that. So for the last 3 years, I've literally been committed to doing this, which is basically being a pain in the backside of, you know, the overlords. And I'll continue to do it. But the problem with this song is, they've censored us so badly. They chuck us off YouTube. They always do. We knew that was coming, but everywhere else has censored us. People have been retweeting it, and then it's been getting deleted. So much for Elon Musk being all about free speech. All about free speech, as long as you don't slate the paedophiles.
What you got deleted from Twitter?
Yeah, we've been deleted from all over Twitter, Facebook.
Wow.
People's Twitter accounts are getting suspended when they retweet us. It's absolutely crazy what's going on. But yeah, we keep trying. Martin just keeps putting out these songs, and we keep trying. I keep doing what I'm doing. I go around, I protest, I talk, I do whatever I can think of doing at the time, you know. So I'm not going to stop just because they don't like me. The more they hate me, the happier I am.
Absolutely. B says, oh, Mick, I've been watching you on Facebook the last 3 years, and I had no idea you'd lost your wife. Bless you for your strength. And Chris says, Good on you. And so say all of us. More power to his elbow. Everybody, this is Michael Manuel James, also known as Mad Mix. And his song is What's the P for? Take good care of yourself, Mick. Lovely to see you this morning.
Cheers.
Have a beautiful
Cheers, mate.
Monday. God bless you. Take care.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for
That's what
having
we
me on.
need. Beats on streets, right? That's exactly what we need. He's not ashamed to do that. He has no problem with doing that at all. And I love that.